Hi everyone, my name is Shayla, and today I want to discuss Claude Monet's The Water Lily Pond 1899. I chose this picture because it brings nostalgia to me. I remember learning about Claude Monet when I was in the fourth grade in my art class, and it just reminds me of a time where I met my two best friends, and many years have passed by now. So when I see this picture, I think of, the time that we have and the bond and the friendship that we've created over these years and how we are still so very close. And, it just brings me happiness. Um, Another thing with Claude Monet, his last name is Monet and my middle name is Monet, so I have a connection there. He often uses the color purple in all of his pieces, and that is my favorite color. So that's just, some more reasons why I chose to pick this picture in particular. Okay, so there's a couple things that stood out to me in this painting. And one thing is the technique that he used to create this picture. He used a lot of brush strokes that gave bare impression of form. He used a lot of unblended colors and emphasized natural lighting. Now, this is called the French Impressionism art era, and they just really emphasized on using the natural lighting to capture a moment. Now, color is very important in this picture because we know that he is painting nature. So nature is already naturally very colorful. You have a lot of bright colors, especially when you're drawing flowers. And there's a lot of greenery, so there could be light greens and dark greens. But one thing we notice in this picture, especially with the flowers, that Monet used pastel colors to capture this nature. Now, these light colors are not typical of nature. Usually you have some, darker colors in nature. So what I get from this painting as I'm looking at this nature or this forest or this park is enchantment. When I see those light colors, I think of like an enchanted forest, and it makes it look like a scene from a movie. It makes it look unreal, almost as if you're like looking at a children's book or a children's movie or like a fairy tale or even like, like fairies and things of that nature. So I think of enchantment. Now, another thing that is very important in this picture is that Monet used oil paints. Now, oil paint is a slow drying paint and it's very pigmented. And he was able to get those beautiful bright colors by the pigment in this oil paint. One thing that is very important to know about oil paint is that it takes a very long time to dry. Usually, if you use anything more than a thin layer of the oil paint, it won't dry fully. It takes actually 12 hours to dry a small layer. So we know that Monet is drawing pictures of landscape and nature. So you just have to think about how he had to be so careful after painting these beautiful artworks and having to travel back home or wherever he had to go. He had to be so very careful with them to make sure that they didn't smudge or mess up. Even as he's painting them and, his arm placement, he just had to be so careful to make sure that these beautiful masterpieces did not mess up. The oil paint gave a lot of texture to the picture. So you can almost see like that it's 3D. So you could think of how it would be to like touch this painting. It's almost as if the flowers or the lilies or the water is right there. It's creating this 3D effect. So I think that is amazing. Now, Claude Monet is one of my favorite artists. And this picture, the water lily pond, is my favorite painting. You see in the beginning that there's water, and then there's the beautiful water lilies, which is, the main point of this picture because it's literally in the name. Then you see the bridge and then the beautiful trees with the flowers behind it. To me, it feels like you're literally walking through this beautiful landscape when you look at this picture. And, you know, it takes away the reality because of the colors. And like I said before, to me, it gives like this enchanting feeling. And it makes it very beautiful. And me, I think that I'm literally reading a children's book. And it reminds me of my childhood in general because that's when I learned about it. But it also, to me, is like looking at nature as a child. We all So Claude Monet is one of my favorite artists ever, and the water lily pond is my favorite painting. I just think it's so beautiful. I love the technique, I love the colors, I love the feeling that it gives me, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys think that that painting is beautiful just like I think it's beautiful. And I hope you guys take time out to, you know, go look at some more of his artwork and get the connection between the colors and the technique he used, and just learn more about him as an artist. Thank you and have a good night.